The wrong man. The night Bruce Lee shook the karate world. The karate champion standing on the stage had no idea whom he had just pointed out. The tournament organizers didn't know either. The 3 judges sitting behind the scoring table knew even less. Nor did the 300 spectators filling the ballroom of the Sheraton Park Hotel in Washington, D.C. No one knew. Only 4 people in that entire venue understood who the small man sitting in the 3rd row really was. The man who had just been called the little guy. The man who had just been asked to step onto the stage to serve as a demonstration dummy. No one suspected that the 135-pound, 61 kilograms, man with the unassuming appearance, who looked like any other guest who had wandered in out of simple curiosity, would, in the next 11 minutes, humiliate the most dominant point fighter in the history of American karate in front of everyone he had ever wanted to impress. His undefeated record, his legendary kick, his reputation, 11 years of absolute dominance would begin to crumble, not by a heralded challenger, not by a prepared rival, but by a man he himself had chosen at random from the audience. A man he had considered small, a man he had underestimated, a man he assumed knew nothing of combat. He had made an irreversible mistake. He had chosen the wrong man. Washington, D.C., March 14, 1964. It was Saturday night. The Grand Ballroom had been transformed into a martial arts arena, with folding chairs arranged in concentric circles around a raised wooden platform. It was the National Karate Championship. Not the largest tournament in the United States, but certainly one of the most important. Participants from 9 states and 7 different styles converged. Shotokan, Goju-Ryu, Kempo, Tang Soo Do, Sudo Taekwondo, and Wado Ryu. The tournament had begun at 9 a.m., 12 uninterrupted hours of fighting. The crowd was exhausted but electrified because the final event of the night was about to begin. A special demonstration by the tournament's guest of honor, Victor Moore. In 1964, anyone with the slightest interest in American karate knew that name. Victor Moore wasn't just a champion. He was the most feared point fighter in the country. His record wasn't just impressive, it was inhuman. 33 consecutive tournament wins. Not 33 fights, 33 first-place finishes in full tournaments. 11 years of competing without knowing defeat. His entire combat strategy rested on a single weapon, a single technique so fast that no one in the history of martial arts had managed to defend against it. He executed his sidekick from a completely neutral position. No preparation, no visible hip rotation, no feints, no warning. One instant he was still. The next, his foot was already embedded in your chest while you stared at the ceiling. Referees had timed it. Less than 0.3 of a second from rest to full extension. Those who had faced it said the same thing. They never saw it coming. They only felt the impact and then found themselves on the floor trying to understand what had just happened. The challenge. Victor Moore stood 6 feet 2 inches, 1.90 meters, and weighed 220 pounds, 100 kilograms. That night, he was about to choose the wrong man. With long arms and even longer legs, his reach advantage was so massive that fighting him felt like trying to box someone on the other side of a window. His plan for the night was simple. Demonstrate his kick, remind the audience why he was invincible, perhaps break some boards, do some light sparring with a prearranged partner, receive applause, shake hands, and go home. Standing on the platform in his pristine white GI, Moore held the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice filling the room. "Tonight I want to show you something that will change your understanding of speed and power. My sidekick is considered the fastest technique in American martial arts. I don't say it, the record does. 33 tournaments, 33 first places, and not once has any opponent managed to block this kick." After the applause, he made the decision that would haunt him. "But I don't want to demonstrate it against a bag. Anyone can kick a bag. I want to show you what this kick looks like against a living body. A real person in front of me trying to stop it." He scanned the room. "I need a volunteer. Someone who thinks they are fast. It doesn't matter the style, it doesn't matter the rank. Come up and try to block my kick. I will pull it before full contact. No one will get hurt." The little guy. Silence. No one moved. The smart fighters knew better. Then Moore's gaze stopped on a small young Asian man in the 3rd row. He wasn't wearing a GI or a belt, just dark trousers and a dark shirt. "You, the little guy, 3rd row." Victor pointed directly at him. Do you want to see the fastest kick in America up close? The small man didn't laugh. He held Moore's gaze, looked at the finger pointing at him, and replied with a single word, "Sure." The man sitting next to him, a Filipino martial artist named Dan Inosanto, grabbed his arm. "Bruce, no." Bruce Lee turned his head. He asked me. It would be rude not to respond. As Bruce walked toward the stage, Ed Parker, sitting in the front row, felt a knot in his stomach. "Oh no," Parker whispered. "What's wrong?" someone asked. "That's Bruce Lee. Victor just made the biggest mistake of his life. The confrontation. Face to face. Victor Moore, 6 feet 2 inches, 220 pounds, versus Bruce Lee, 5 feet 7 inches, 135 pounds. The difference was obscene. "Do you practice martial arts?" Victor asked. "Yes." "What style?" "Chinese martial arts." Victor nodded with a slight smirk. At that time, Kung Fu was seen as decorative, pretty for movies, useless for real fighting. Victor turned to the crowd. "We have a brave volunteer. Bruce Lee practices Chinese martial arts." Victor leaned in and whispered to Bruce, "I'll hold back, just try to react." Bruce nodded. Victor took his stance. Bruce remained relaxed, hands at his sides, no guard, no visible tension. Then the champion launched his kick. What happened next lasted less than a second, but it changed everything. The aftermath. When the murmur returned to the hall, no one could agree on what had just occurred. Victor was breathing hard. Bruce remained motionless, without a smile or a gesture of victory. Ed Parker grabbed the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, what you have just witnessed is extraordinary. This is Bruce Lee, instructor of Wing Chun and creator of a system called Jeet Kune Do." Bruce stepped forward. "It wasn't magic," he said calmly. "It wasn't superior talent. It was physics. Most techniques have preparation. If you can read the preparation, you know the technique before it happens. In Jeet Kune Do, we eliminate the telegraph. We don't react. We intercept." Bruce demonstrated. Strikes without preparation, direct, crisp, invisible. He turned back to Victor. "Attack again." Victor, his pride wounded, launched the kick with all his strength. Bruce stepped into the trajectory, redirected the energy, and placed his open palm gently on Victor's chest. "This is where it would end," Bruce said. He continued the demonstration, showing the Wing Chun center line, sticky hands, chi saw, and then the famous 1-inch punch. Bruce placed his fist just 1 inch from Victor's chest and without winding up struck. Victor was sent flying backward. The chair behind him collapsed under his weight. The room exploded. Bruce walked over, offered Victor his hand and helped him up. Victor was smiling, not in mockery but in pure amazement. "How is it possible?" Moore asked. "It's not the inch," Bruce replied. "It's the body behind the inch." Bruce turned to the audience for one last word. "I am not here to disparage karate. Every art has strengths. Every art has limits. The question is not which is better. The question is, are you willing to acknowledge what you do not know?" An hour later, in the hotel parking lot, Victor Moore approached Bruce. The arrogance was gone. "I owe you an apology," he said. A pause. "I thought I was the best." He held his gaze. "Tonight you showed me something real." He swallowed hard. "Can you teach me that?" Bruce shook his head gently. "You don't need a new teacher." Another pause. "You need a new question." Victor frowned. "Not how do I win?" A pause. "But what do I not know?" Victor extended his hand. "Thank you for the lesson." Bruce shook it. "Thank you for the invitation." As they walked toward the car, Dan Inosanto broke the silence. "Now everyone will know who you are." Bruce looked straight ahead. "Good." A pause. "Next time they won't have to ask." On March 14, 1964, a karate champion pointed to a small man in the third row. He didn't know he had chosen Bruce Lee. Now the whole world would know. If this story made you question everything you thought you knew about strength, talent, and limits, then this channel is for you. Subscribe now because here we don't follow trends, we follow principles. Hit the bell, join this community, and never forget, the most important fight isn't against others, it's against what you still don't know about yourself. See you in the next one.